Welcome to the Sourcing Tables tasting with the very lovely Jamie Goode, who has kindly agreed to come into our offices and enjoy some delicious wines with us.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Jamie. So I have very selfishly picked one of my personal favourites. So this is a white from Tenerife made from Liston Blanco, and it's called Trenzado for a very interesting reason, and I'd like Jamie to introduce this because he's actually visited them.
Yeah, so we're in Tenerife, volcanic slopes, and the vineyards look really quite remarkable because of this training system, which is called the Cordon Trenzado, which basically the vine trunks, rather than each vine separately growing up like this, they're all kind of wrapped around each other. And as the vine gets older, the vine gets longer, and then it's pruned with little spurs all the way along, and then the shoots come out in spring and produce the canopy. But it's incredibly strange to look at, but the results are fantastic.
And it's very unique to Tenerife as well. Should we taste?
Yes.
So Liston Blanco is actually probably more commonly known as Palomino, and it's most commonly grown in Jerez because it's a sherry grape variety. But I think this is a really fabulous example of how it's so much more than that.
And the thing is as well that people think the story in sherry is that Palomino is quite a neutral variety, then it's the aging process that gives the distinctive wines of sherry. But I think people are now beginning to realise that Palomino is actually a very interesting grape variety in its own right. This is certainly distinctive. How do you describe the nose?
So for me, this is very much like gun smoke, or when you've got two rocks and you crack them together, almost like flint sparks. It's very smoky. And that's something that actually is very distinctive for and a lot of volcanic soil vineyards. So Tenerife, obviously very volcanic soils. And it really adds that layer of complexity to this wine, and it's so distinctive.
Yeah, it's quite remarkable because it provides complexity, it provides a framing to those fruity characters, because there's quite a bit of fruit here. It's got maybe some pear, some peach.
Yeah, definitely peach for me. Peach, apple, pear.
And the flavour spectrum, it's got some base notes, it's got a little bit of mid, and it's got this treble. I think it just covers the whole flavour spectrum, and I find it compelling, really compelling. And also this character is consistent vintage to vintage.
Absolutely.
Although I think this has actually got more richness, this 2019 vintage, and more volume.
It's got such a fleshy palate, it's beautiful.
Which I think works well with those minerally matchstick notes, yeah?
Yeah, it's so beautifully balanced. This is a wine as well that I'd say if you wanted to take the time, it would really benefit from just popping in a decanter for a bit, let it settle in, let it enjoy itself. And then sort of return to it when it's not quite too cold and has a little bit of time to sort of open up.
Thank you.
Cheers.